Every curriculum has a worldview, whether it's a humanistic worldview, whether it's a Christian worldview, whether it's an Islamic worldview, it doesn't matter. Every curriculum has a worldview somewhere, whether you're an atheist or not an atheist, whatever it is that you are, there's a belief system that you have. 1.3 Academy has a belief system that God is our author of everything and that the parent is the first educator of their child. Do you want to know how you can home educate your child for free? Okay, well, watch this video and I will show you how you can do that for free or on a budget. My name is Sophia, I'm the 1 in 1.3, welcome to the family. So I'm at home, I'm in my kitchen. If you can hear a background noise, it's my washing machine, which is just washing clothes behind me. I have a live Q&A session tomorrow, which will be Friday the 11th of February at 5 o'clock. So after watching this video, if you feel as though you've got more questions and you'd like to talk to somebody live, a qualified teacher, a home educator, a single parent, then come and join me live tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I did try to go live last week, it was a total disaster. I actually cried my eyes out after because I had watched like previous videos the night before, like saying, okay, how to do the really good live video on YouTube and what you need to do. And obviously I'm a solopreneur, so I do a lot of work myself. I have my sister who helps me quite a lot with my thumbnails and things like that. But last week I really was geared up and riled up and ready, and it just didn't work. I just felt really frustrated about it. So I'm hoping, I've tested my laptop a little bit today to check that things are going to work, and I'm really hoping that tomorrow things will go to plan. So please pray for me because I do suffer from a bit of anxiety and these things do not help at all. Anyway, moving on to the video. In this video I'm going to be talking to you, giving you a few tips about what it is that you can do at home to help homeschool your child for free and on a budget. We are living in one of the climates now where the cost of living is really increasing. There's so much bad things on the news that just like terrifies us in terms of the gas prices and the electricity prices going up. So if we can find a way to still home educate our children, to give them a quality education but for free or for cheap, I think, you know, we'd all want to hear that, right? Please stay with me until the end, as I will be giving you some offers and letting you know a bit more about how you can get hold of some of my discounted products and, you know, find out how you can use my actual curriculum that I've developed at 1.3 Academy for free as well. So please stay with me until the end. If you would like to kind of skip and look for more specific content on this video, go to the description down below and it will show you where to go on the time lapse, I don't know what you call it, where to go on the time lapse in order to get the information that you want straight away when you need it. So the first thing I'd say is go and get yourself a pen and paper, because I do tend to speak quite fast. I do try really hard to speak slowly, but I've always had an issue about speaking fast. I'm asthmatic as well, and when I was younger I would speak really quickly before taking my inhaler or before taking my next breath. So I do tend to speak quite fast, but you can slow it down. There is a speed dial down below where you can slow the speaking down as well, but I'll try my best to slow my speaking down, but if it does go fast, you know why. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to the very beginning, okay? I don't know if you have spoke about your birth story or if you remember your birth story, but let's go back to the beginning. When you first delivered that child, even if you had a C-section or however you had the child, the midwife will normally place the child on your body for skin-to-skin contact. Okay, and at this moment here you would realize that, you know what, I'm responsible for this child, and your baby is actually realizing at that point that you're responsible for their everything. They need you for survival. They need you to help them to be fed, to be kept clean, to look after them. Okay, and you learn that straight away as a parent. You don't have a manual that comes out with the baby that tells you, okay, this is what you need to do. You have advice from other people that you've had. You've got your own life experiences that help you to know what kind of parent you want to be, but that is literally it. And at that point there, God has made our bodies really well, and at that point there your body will produce something called milk. So milk is like the first source of food that your child needs, and your body produces that for your child naturally and for free. So that's there and it's available. Obviously there's an exception to every single rule, but at the end of the day, that is something that you give to your child for free anyway. But the point is that that baby is learning that you're its everything. So just keep that in mind when teaching your child, that you are actually your child's first educator. If you didn't have any curriculum or anything else to give your child, you will still teach your child something as they grow older. You would teach them about life. You would pass on knowledge that you've had for yourself, stories that you've heard about, that you know of. You wouldn't need to really get it from a book. You have it already in your head. So if I told you to tell me the story about the three little pigs, you could just do that instantly. It's like a traditional tale that we've all kind of heard as children. You could tell me the story. It might not sound exactly the same as the author wrote it, but when you put your author's voice into that story, you could just pass that knowledge on to your child anyway. So even if you are illiterate in terms of your reading, there is so much information that you've got in your mind that you can pass on to your children. There's a skill that you have that you can pass on to your children. If you're good at cooking, you can teach your child how to cook. If you're good at like making things, you can teach your child how to make things. If you like fix cars, bring your child along with you, help them to fix cars too. do. The point I'm trying to make is that if there was no schools out there, your child will still learn something, okay? So keeping that in mind, let's take that a little bit further now. Let's use our imagination and think that we were lost on an island somewhere, okay? There was a shipwreck and we survived, and you were on an island somewhere with your baby or with your young child. All you had was your suitcase and this baby. Let's say that the island was a nice island, so it had lots of exotic animals on the island, like you've got parrots and different colourful birds, and the water was not too rough, it was quite calm. The weather was nicely balanced, so you had like hot weather, but sometimes it would rain when you needed the rain for the vegetation to grow. But the only thing that you had, materialistically, was your suitcase, and also you've got your baby as well. You've got to teach your child something. So after you've sorted out things like the shelter of where you're going to stay and what the food source was on the island, you want to teach your child something while you're on the island. At that point there, the sand becomes your paper, the sticks become your pen, and your mind is what you're going to use to pass on information to your child. So what would you do now? How would you teach your child to read? How would you teach your child stories? What would you do? The first thing you probably do is use your communication. You'll be talking to your child and communicating with your child, and they'll be learning from you along the way. So that's how it would be at the core of education, is like passing on knowledge to your children, okay? Now let's take the idea again and just forget about being on an island somewhere, and just think to yourself that now you're at home, in the home that you're living at right now. You're at home there. You've got your kitchen, your fridge, your washing machine, you're at home, okay? Have a little think about the resources that you have around your house that you could use to teach your child something. Maybe with your pen and paper, you might want to pause this video and then write down a few things that you have at home that you could use to teach your children. Okay, so some things you might have come up with would be things like books. Maybe you have books lying around your house that you can pull out to teach your children. You've got things like little resources like pens and pencils, forks and knives. You could use those for counting objects with your child. Maybe you have a globe. Maybe you have a clock. An analog clock at home you can talk to teach your children. You have a TV most likely, but one thing that you definitely have, because you're watching me on here, is Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi of today is like the encyclopedia of yesterday. So back in the day we had these red books in my house. We had like lots of red books that my mum and dad invested in for us, and every time I wanted to learn something I could just go to my encyclopedia, take out the information, learn about it. Now you get that information given to you in an instant. You literally get your phones out, type in Google, go into Google and type your question, and something will pop up. You might have to verify the sources sometimes, but something will pop up. And our children have those phones in their pocket every day that they're walking around with, that they can learn their most amazing stuff. Like my daughter, she's 14 years old and she's self-taught herself Spanish just by like changing the settings on her phone to talk to her in Spanish. She watches like Spanish movies and different things, but she taught herself Spanish just by. So the biggest tool that you have to your hand at the moment is Wi-Fi. Okay. Nothing is free. You obviously got to pay for your Wi-Fi bill to get that, but I'm just trying to incorporate this free homeschool into what you already have in your hands, okay? And that's some of the things that you have for free. So let me try to break it down a bit further in terms of age-related goals and age-related structures, okay? So let's look at children the age of 0 to 3, okay? So between 0 and 3, the child is growing, the child is developing. The main tool that you have for the child at that age would be your voice. It's about you communicating with your child, not dumbing down your speaking when you're talking to them. You might slow your speaking down a little bit and be very aware of what you're saying to your child. But at the same time, when you're speaking to them, you're basically incorporating language into their everyday vocabulary. If you're not dumbing your voice down, you're speaking in the correct English to your child, they will eventually learn to pick up the little parts of language, and they will learn how to speak for themselves. They may miss out the verbs, they may miss out certain things and speaking phrases at the beginning, but the more that you're speaking to your child, the more that they're learning from you and they're developing language. That is amazing, because you haven't been taught anything, but already you're giving your child the gift of language just by speaking to them. So I would say, if you have a child between 0 and 3, don't stop speaking to them. Talk to them about everything and name things. So if you take your child to the park or go for walks with your child, name things. If they see a bird flying in the sky, tell them bird. You can go even further by naming some of the birds. If you see a robin in your garden, say this is a robin. If you see a magpie, say this is a magpie. Name them and give them categories. There's different cars that they come by all the time when going on the streets. Tell them this is a car. Look at the different colours of the cars that you see. That's a green car, that's a red car. Go to walks with them, go to parks with them, play with your child. Just keep playing with them. During bath time, sing songs to them. You can do nursery rhymes with them, just lots and lots of play, and read that book to them, that same book that I keep giving you over and over and over again. Read it to them, don't skip it, read it exactly as it is from beginning, middle to end. They will love it. So the gift of language is what you have for a child aged 0 to 3. Your time, your love, and just language is enough to give your child, okay? Oh, also there's things like mother and toddler groups as well. They're really good for this age. And if you do want your child to go to a nursery, there's also 30 hours of free childcare that you have. So if you put that to your main benefit, maybe choose a really good nursery that covers phonics. And you're laughing because obviously you send them to the nursery, they will learn how to play with other children, and they'll also be teaching phonics, and then you've also got, you use your 30 hours of free childcare. That's not an option for everybody, and not everybody wants to send their children to nursery, which is absolutely fine. If that's not you, that's absolutely fine as well. You can teach them phonics yourself. Let's move into the 3 to 5 age bracket first, and then I can explain that a bit further. So if you have a child aged 3 to 5 roughly, you can still take them to groups. You can take them to a mother and toddler group. That way you're not away from your child, you're with your child the whole time, and they will learn how to sing songs in the group and do their nursery rhymes and things like that as well. Obviously, at the age of 3 to 5, the main thing that you kind of want to teach your child at this point, especially in the UK, would be phonics. Phonics is so important. The government have announced recently that they're actually changing methods of systematic phonics that they've used. Now, I'm old school in my teaching. I swear by letters and sounds, a document that I use teaching my reception children. I teach it now within my classes, and I think phonics is absolutely amazing. And the letters and sound document is still available online. I would say get that document, download it, and teach your child phonics based on that method. It definitely works. I've heard some horror stories from other teachers that I know where schools have changed the system of how they're teaching their children phonics, and some children are not doing very well. But anyway, since the pandemic is kind of, we're kind of coming out of the pandemic now, many children have suffered in terms of their early learning and early development. But the point is that there's many documents online you can go to get the information. Yeah, if you go to www.gov.uk, you can type in education things there, like Key Stage 1 phonics, things like that. Lots of things will come up, and that's all free. It's in the public domain, and it's all available to you. So at the age of 3 to 5, the main area would be teaching your child phonics, teaching your child how to read. I've also got a phase 2 phonics course I created many years ago that I do give for free. So if you would like to have a phonics course that gives you a step-by-step guide, click on the link down below, sign up for that, and it's all available to you for free. I also have downloadable products in there that I created. It took me hours and hours to create these resources. I do sell some of them in my Etsy shop, but obviously my subscribers can get them for free. So put your details in down below, download it, have a look. It's got me teaching videos to children, things like that. But like I said, it's been done a long time ago, so my videos are a lot better now. Yeah, so a child at 3 to 5, they still need play, lots and lots of play with the children at that age. But the main thing is that you're reading to your child, that you're just using what you have to hand. Basic counting activities for your child, counting the steps as they go up, counting the steps as they go down, sharing out oranges for the family, putting things into different groups, looking at shapes inside your environment, things like that. Again, you've got the early learning goals document that you can download that you can get from downloading down below as well, which will give you different tips on how to teach your child phonics for free. I also have a curriculum at 1.3 Academy, which covers some things for reception. I have a free curriculum product that you can use for your child as well, which just go through the little letters with your child, and it's all free as well that you can use for your child. Okay, so let's move on a little bit to age 5 to 11 now. Now this is primary age, and many of you at this point here are thinking, okay, now it's getting a bit difficult and I need to know, how do I know what to teach my child? That's a very valuable feeling to have, a very valuable question to have. But again, don't panic. You use the same structure that you used from the very beginning. The child is getting older, so you will develop with your child. But again, even at 5 to 11, your child still needs to play. Even the 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds, the play may look quite different from how they play with a younger child, but children within this age bracket, they still like going to the park, they still like maybe the basketball courts, the tennis courts, they still like playing with Play-Doh, believe it or not, they still like doing puzzles, but maybe at a higher level. They might like gaming on the computer, but they like to play. So playing is still very important, and talking to your child at this age is still very important. Okay, you've got libraries, you've got museums, you've got your field trips, you've got all these different things that you probably already know about already. I'm not going to be focused on that right now, because it's really about helping you to know what it is that your child needs to learn. I have a video, click on the link over here, about how you can use the national curriculum to homeschool your child, so I'm not going to go in that again. But the main thing is there's different subject areas that you can teach your child. You've got to think about a vision for your child at this point. What is it that you want to do with your child? Are you homeschooling on a year-by-year basis? Are you planning to homeschool up until high school and then possibly stop homeschooling your child, or are you going to homeschool all the way to GCSEs? Make a decision in your heart right now about what it is that you want to do with your child, and then find a plan that relates to that. But again, I don't repeat what's already in that video. The main thing is there's subject areas that you want to teach your child. Now at 1.3 Family, I cater for this age group quite a lot, and what I do at 1.3 Family is that I broke it down into different subject areas. So you have the history, you've got the geography, you've got Bible, you've got science, you've got a little bit of maths and a little bit of English. The maths and English are not very specific to the national curriculum, but it kind of blends in terms of like topic study maths. So for example, if you're learning about the historical story of Noah's Ark, you might do the maths concept in there about looking at measurements that were used in Bible times and converting those measurements into what measurements we use today. You may look about the animals going into the ark 2 by 2. You know, to look at division, look at inverse operations of multiplying and division. You've got addition and subtraction that can come out of that topic area there. But the main thing with my curriculum is that it's kind of based more on the history unit. So we follow the classical conversation timeline that they use. There's lots of free things online in the public domain from YouTube. So they have like a song, it goes, Age of Ancient Empires, and then it goes, Creation and the Fall, the Flood and the Tower of Babel, Mesopotamia and Sumer, Egyptians. I'm not listening to the whole song, but my children learnt the whole song. And what I do in this curriculum, I categorise everything. So the first thing I just sang there was creation and the fall. So the first lesson within 1.3 Academy would be, depending on the year group, would be creation and the fall. The child will learn about creation. They will learn about the 7 days of creation. What did God create on day 1? What did he create on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6? Now for all of you that believe in evolution, that will come up in the year 6 curriculum, where I teach your children the theory of evolution and about creation also. So that way they can get to work out their minds about what they're already hearing at school. Do they believe in the method of the creation historical context, or do they believe in the theory of evolution? So they get to pick and choose which one they like, but you can teach that in a parallel way. But before that happens, the main thing with this curriculum is that the foundational core is God. The foundational core is the Bible. So again, that might not be for everyone. You might not want to have that view, but every curriculum has a worldview, whether it's a humanistic worldview, whether it's a Christian worldview, whether it's an Islamic worldview, it doesn't matter. Every curriculum has a worldview somewhere, whether you're an atheist or not an atheist, whatever it is that you are, there's a belief system that you have. 1.3 Academy has a belief system that God is our author of everything and that the parent is the first educator of their child. Stop the video here if that doesn't work for you, but that's what 1.3 curriculum is about. So we have like I said, we have a creation story over there. They learn about that, learn about what happened. They learn different songs and different things that I've got available to teach them that concept. And then in science may be about like, what did God create on day 4? Like, what did he create on day 3? What did he create on day 6? So for example, day 6, they would learn about different animals. Your child might go a bit deeper into learning about the dinosaurs, into learning about birds or insects and just different things. But the point is that the curriculum is structured like that, but it's more like a unit study approach where they kind of go further within their study. The main thing is I've got lots of video links that come onto the 1.3 Academy curriculum. It's all based on like YouTube or things I found on Google, and then you can also do more yourself by going to the library, getting lots of different books and teaching your child that concept through the different books. But the point is that they're learning something. With regards to the English, they will have a booklet. The booklet would basically have like a picture area where they can draw a picture of what they've learned and just write down what it is that they've learned. So the 4 things that we focus on within 1.3 Academy is watch it. So basically watch the video, discuss it with somebody about what you learn, and then write about it. So 3 things in fact. So you watch it, learn it, discuss it, and then write about it. So what we're doing is trying to pour information into their minds. So the mind is like getting exposed to different things. The information is going into their mind, and the output comes out from their writing. From a young age, it could be like a bit of copy work, or maybe you would scribe for your child. So the younger child, maybe 5 years old, you would scribe for them. You'd write down what it is that they said to you that they learned. You could write it down. That'll be it for the day. Or as they develop further, they can maybe copy down what you've written. As they develop further, they will just write down what it is that they've learned themselves. That is the function of the curriculum. Come and speak to me tomorrow on Friday at 5 o'clock, and I will answer as many questions as I can about this curriculum. It's taken me years to develop this curriculum, because even the links, like putting links into different folders, changing the colours in the folders, takes a long time. But I've had it on my heart for so long, saying, okay, how can we make this easier for parents so you're able to know what to teach their children? So 1.3 Academy is there for you. Utilise the curriculum, it's absolutely free. There's downloadable PDFs on there. There's some quizzes on there. There's so much in there that's like, oh, it's so exciting that I finally can get it out there. So I'm really excited about 1.3 Academy. Okay, let's move on a little bit to children who are maybe in Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4. At this point here, you can still teach your child for free by getting downloadable past papers off the internet, working through the past papers and learning the information from there. So for example, if your child is learning biology, you can get a biology paper, the foundation GCSE paper, and start working on each question. So you can go for a question, you've got the mark scheme with you, again, all for free. Go through the question with your child, go to the mark scheme. Anything that your child does not understand from that past paper, highlight it. Just put a little highlighter around it. It could be things like cytoplasm, photosynthesis. They don't get those things. Then you go to the library, get a book out about cytoplasm, or you might get a whole book about cytoplasm, but get a book out about plants, and then go to the topic that they didn't understand. And that's one method and one way of teaching your children age-related targets in terms of what they would be doing at school, and just jumping further and diving in a bit more. You can also go to go to groups. There's a lot of home ed people that meet up in the park. You can go to home ed groups at the park. You can go to make your own home ed group if you haven't got one. I made a group called A Place for Ace. There's a link over here to show you how that group was, because I didn't see anything in the area that was available for teens. It's closed down now, pre-COVID, but you know, groups are important for children. They like to socialise, they like to be with other people. You know, we still have those things as well. Also, I did trips to like museums and things like that as well, but it's nice to have a focus. Don't just go to a museum, well you can, but it's nice to go to a museum knowing exactly what it is that you want to teach them. So if you have a child that's doing like a GCSE or more like an IGCSE, you still can do that for free at home. You may need to pay a few things at this point, but the payments could be very minimal. Sometimes when it's free, that means it's more work for you. Sometimes when you pay a bit of money, that means it's less work for you in terms of, you know, the amount of time that you put into it. So again, it's all down to you how you teach your child, but it is possible to teach your child for free. I've got so much I want to share with you, so many things, so much information that's just bursting out of my body that I want to help you with, but it is possible. So come and join me tomorrow at 5 o'clock and I will answer any question that you have about teaching your child for free. I have no idea if that helped you. I hope it did, but the links are down below. The curriculum 1.3 Academy is available for you as well. 25 minutes that video was. Okay, but I look forward to seeing you again on another video. God bless, bye.